Hello, everyone. I'm Lon Gonzalez, and today we are speaking with Mr. Lloyd Lott, the organist for First Baptist Church of Corpus Christi, and his experience with the carillon, a very unique instrument. And on the line, Mr. Lott. And our first question, what exactly is a carillon?
A carillon is a musical instrument that consists of 23 or more bells, and each bell is made up of 80% copper and 20% tin, and is molded in the foundry. And so we got our 51 bell set from the IJsbelt, the Royal IJsbelt's Bell Foundry in Aston, Netherlands, back in 1976. And that's what we have here at First Baptist Church.
That's amazing. So, do these bells stay in tune, or does somebody go out there periodically and work with them, or do you just replace them outright?
These cast bells last forever. They never go out of tune, and they have it scientifically adjusted so that they can actually make this tune the inner part of the bell, so that they would have certain frequencies, like 5 different frequencies within the range, and those are perfectly in tune. So each one of these bells are all set, so you never hear them get out of tune at all. And the elements that we have here in Corpus Christi along the seawall, the water bay and everything, salt atmosphere does not affect it at all.
Wow, that's amazing. That is most amazing. So tell me, how long have you been an organist with the First Baptist Church, and how long have you been doing these carillon concerts?
I have been organist at First Baptist Church and still playing since 1968. On September 1st will be my 57th year as organist there. And in 1976, we received the Glasscock Memorial Carillon from Lucille Glasscock in memory of her husband, Gus Glasscock. And she gave the 51 bell carillon, and back then it was like $250,000. And so she gave that carillon back in 1976, and in November of 76, we had the dedication of the Glasscock Memorial Carillon. Then a couple of years later, I started a carillon concert series where we would have guest carillonneurs come in and play concerts. Those series started back in the late 70s and went all the way until 2002, when we had a bell from the bell tower, the old bell tower, fell on top of the playing cabin. And after inspection up in the tower, we found that the bells were moving, and therefore there was corrosion within the girders to hold in the bells. And because of that, we had to take down all of the bells, and eventually we tore down the whole tower because of the corrosion that it had created to not be usable.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. It sure does.
And that was back in 2002. So all these, from 2002 until about 2.5 years ago, or 3 years ago, I can't remember exactly the time, but we were raising money to build a new tower. We had the old tower torn down, and the bells stored back behind the church. Then 3 years ago, we had the dedication of the new tower, which we contracted with the Verdon Company, Bell Company in Cincinnati, Ohio. They built the new tower so that it could withstand the elements that we have here on the waterfront for many, many, many years, because we used all stainless steel components for the carillon. So that will help us maintain this carillon and all of the structure for decades.
Wow, that's incredible.
And so we probably won't have any problem. I know in my lifetime I won't see it. But and then anyway, 2 years ago we started a series, and we had started having carillon concerts during this late spring and then the summertime and early fall, and we picked up the series. And so that was how we finally got to this point today. And I went back in 1976 to study the carillon so I could learn to play it. And that the minister of music then was Edgar Noti. He told me he wanted me to go find someone to study with. So I went to the University of California, Riverside, and studied with the carillonneur there for 2 weeks, and got the technique down. And then he sent me to the University of Kansas, where I studied with Albert Gherkin at the University of Kansas for a week. And then from there, I kept on advancing in the Guild of Carillonneurs in North America, which is an organization made up of people within North America who are carillonneurs or friends of the carillon. And we would go to congresses where we could hear all these performances. And I got to where I was able to play proficiently in 1979 by passing what we call an advancement recital. And that was taking place in Lake Wales, Florida, at the Bach Tower in Lake Wales, about the third or fourth largest in the United States. And so I passed that, and then the rest is history. I got involved with the Guild of Carillonneurs, and got on the board of directors for 8 years, and then I became president of the board for 4 years, and then I've been a member ever since. So
that's amazing. That's an amazing. So
I'm giving you a lot of information.
You sure have. It's wonderful information. So tell me, how do you play a carillon? Is it like a keyboard? Is it a ropes? Is it how does this work?
Well, you mentioned ropes. Ropes are ones that are used for change ringing. Change ringing is prominent in Europe. And we do have a few places in the United States. New York City, Abilene, Texas has they do change. It's called change ringing, and it's like 7 or 8 people possibly, with just maybe 7 or 8 bells maybe, and they pull ropes. I do not know the technique of that because I never learned it, but it is a technique in itself in playing it with ropes. And they had to ring the bells. The bells actually move, and they had to time it so that it would be able to coincide with the structure of the change ringing. But that is another story. Now, the carillon itself is a permanently fixed installation. Every bell is attached to a girder in the tower, and the bells do not move at all. There are clappers inside each bell, and every one of those clappers are attached to the keyboard down below or above, depending on where you are, and it's controlled by wood sticks, which we call batons, and those batons on the keyboard is similar to a piano keyboard. It's arranged like C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, like the chromatic, like the piano. The pedal, there is a pedal for the lower bass bells, and you use your feet for that, much like you do in the organ. And so that's how you use to play it. You play it that way. You use your fist to play runs or running passages, and it's called alternation, where you alternate your fist one over the other. Like if I was playing a scale, I would go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and play that way, and going up or down the keyboard. And then you can also play chords, which you open your fingers up on your thumb and then the 2 fingers on the hand, each hand, and you can play chords like a C minor chord, C, E flat, G, and then you can open them up to do whatever you want to with them. Sometimes you can use 3 fingers on the keyboard. It depends on what the music looks like. Now, speaking of music, it's written like the piano keyboard music. The hands play the upper part, and the pedals play the lower notes, and that's what you have to follow when you're playing the instrument. Now, on this instrument at Corpus Christi, at First Baptist, we have all of the bass bells from a low B flat in the pedal, goes up to the high C, not the very high top, but 25 bells or so. And then, but the manuals on our carillon runs from a low B flat also, from B flat all the way up to a high D in the manuals. So there are fewer pedals down there because you don't have that much room to do the entire 51 bells on the pedals. So it's just the lower 2 octaves of bells usually. So you've got that capability of using the manuals and the pedals in making music and reading the music.
That's amazing. That is most amazing. And you have multiple dates for some of your concerts here. You've got one on Friday.
Friday.
At 6 p.m. You also have one in June, July, and August. July 4th is obviously a big day. Is that one for patriotic music?
Yes, I'll be playing that concert at 8 p.m. on July the 4th. It's to kind of coincide with the fireworks right afterwards. I'll only play about a 45-minute concert, and then there'll be a lot of people getting there and parking at the First Baptist Church parking lot and across the street, getting ready to watch the fireworks on July the 4th. So I do a patriotic program on that. The first one this Friday the 16th is going to be played by Carol Jeckling Lenz from Denver, Colorado. She was the carillon instructor at the University of Denver, and she recently retired. And so I was able to get her to come down and play a concert. And that concert is at 6 p.m. This is probably the earliest we've had a concert because we had a conflict with the Stark College out on the island. And they were having their graduation ceremony at First Baptist at 7 o'clock. So this concert is going to be at 6 p.m. for the Carillon concert by Carol Lenz. July the 4th I'll be playing that at 8 p.m. I'll see, June the 13th. June the 13th is the next one on Friday night, and that's at 7 p.m. by Alex Kirkland. And he is the carillonneur at Church of the Good Shepherd, Episcopal Church of the Good Shepherd, here in Corpus Christi. We are fortunate in Corpus Christi to have 2 carillons in our city. They have the 48-bell carillon, and we have a 51-bell. And the other one, I'll give you an example about San Antonio. It's a big city, of course, and they only have 1 carillon in the whole city of San Antonio. So we're fortunate that we have 2 of them in our community.
Absolutely.
And then the final concert will be given by Jesse Ratcliffe from Baltimore, Maryland, I think it is, July the 8th, and it will be at 7 p.m.
All right.
So that is our concert series for this year, and we will be doing this every year, probably from now on, and getting guest carillonneurs to come in to hear them play as well. And people bring their chairs or can sit around in the garden area there in front of the First Baptist Church or underneath by the chapel. They could bring chairs and sit under there. Some people sit in their cars if they want to listen to it from there. That's possible as well. So that's our series for this year.
Sounds great. Wow, that is so much wonderful information about these great shows, and of course the instruments and the guest carillonneurs coming in to Corpus Christi, and of course the big July 4th show, which is always fun. It just boggles the imagination, really, when you think about it. Sir, we thank you again for your time. Much luck to you and success with these great shows and all these folks coming in. And we'll let people know what you're doing and be on the listen for the bells. So there you go.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye now.